Howdy, folks. This is Vile Mike here. Only have a Lihu right now, but Chris might be trying to show up, and Dandelion might show up. Don't know about anyone else.
Yes, I am here physically, but not mentally, because I've only had 2 cups of coffee.
So, let's start off kind of easy. The update on the reflecting pool and the fucking gold statue. So, the reason I wanted to bring up the reflecting pool again, this is the friggin' third CNA stream where we've talked about it, but I think it's mostly because it's a great metaphor for this administration to begin with. Basically, I don't know if you guys have been following the case of the former Olympian who was, charged with, being one of the people that damaged the pool, or the reflecting pool. And remember, the charges they put against him were like felony levels, and the fact that both Trump and Caroline Leavitt on air basically said that he was deranged. He was everything short of being a domestic terrorist. Well, that case was quietly dropped, and I don't think you'll be seeing it on most news sites.
Joy. You've got to check, idiot.
Sorry, you just went live.
Oh, awesome. Nice to know I just went live.
Mm-hmm.
Considering Judge Jeanine Pirro, that, someone very, very close to the Trump's inner circle and basically does damn near anything he says.
He's currently the U.S. Attorney for D.C.
Yeah. She's the one that dropped the case on the Olympian because of a lack of evidence. Basically, once they drained the reflecting pool and they, actually got a look at it, you can plainly see there is no evidence of anyone cutting the frickin' lining.
And a few hours ago, Trump posted on the street social, quote, "I disagree 100% with Jeanine Pirro." I'm not doing the voice. The U.S. Attorney for District of Columbia, the reflecting pool. I don't know what she was thinking. To me, it was a pure case of vandalism. That included the grass, which had a big 8647 emblazed on it, in giant letters on it, and other elements of the surrounding areas. There may have been some other contractor difficulty, but the major damage was caused by vandals. President DJT. Yeah, interesting how the so-called, in case you guys are wondering, I haven't seen this. Donald Trump posted almost a 3-minute video of somebody allegedly cutting and destroying the reflecting pool. But surprise, surprise, that's an old video being circulated of a woman reaching down and touching the pool. If you guys are in the group chat, I posted the entire video that he posted online in the chat. I even zoomed in. I can't tell shit.
Well, I wanted to answer Gap's question. The difference that it doesn't make any difference that he was an Olympic swimmer.
Wait,
the point
was,
because he was a famous person and had liberal tendencies, that's why his charges were some of the worst out of the supposed people who damaged the reflecting pool liner. They basically wanted to make an example out of him because he himself, was slightly famous and had liberal tendencies. Speaking of someone who's slightly famous with liberal tendencies, how you doing, Dandelion?
Slightly famous.
What's up?
Yeah, of course you're slightly famous. You're famous for your bread porn.
Right.
I take it the clouds were too heavy last night in your area, Dandelion?
You know what? I went to bed early.
Yeah, because I looked at the weather. I'm like, should I let it know? Damn, nope, too much clouds. It was a G2 to 3 storm last night.
It was it was kind of intermittently cloudy, but anyway. And sadly, there will be no bread porn today. I didn't make bread this week.
Oh,
I kind of forgot.
Pick her out. Pick her out. Kick her out.
And
Let me
then
see if I can. Hopefully, that's making it a little bit bigger for you guys.
all right.
This is apparently the smoking gun, according to Donald Trump.
Yeah, I've zoomed in and I can't see shit. I can't see her cutting shit or. Wait, is that the woman? Wait, that's not the paraplegic guy who. That's not the Olympic. That's a woman. Wait a minute. What?
Well, even so, it's obviously still not somebody taking a box cutter and wreaking a giant, rent through the. Well, I think then they were trying to go just by peeling up pieces. You're like damaging the pool. I don't know. The whole thing.
Well, technically, I can say this. If you see paint peeling on a building and you pull off more of the paint, that technically is vandalism.
Absolutely.
But
I
what you
think
can't
would
do
have a
is
hard
have
time
somebody charged
arguing.
with felony level vandalism
I was gonna say,
charges.
I think you would have a hard time proving that was an additional $1,000.
That's why Trump is upset because Piro's like, sorry, can't do that.
Yeah, there was. I mean, the only places where the lining was pulling up that far, that for any length longer than I think it was like what 9 meters, was towards the middle of the damn reflecting pool. And I don't know if it looks like it to you, but there's nobody in these videos that has super stretchy powers like Mr. Fantastic reaching towards the middle of the pool to cut it.
Do you know what's in the middle of the pool underneath all that water? That 300 line for the drainage. Yeah, 300 long line for drainage. Oh my gosh, coincidence?
But apparently, yeah, this is the smoking gun.
And you cannot put your feet in the water to cool off, but you can in the World War II reflecting pool, in a fountain, which is connected. And what's up with these gold statues, Mike?
Well, yeah, as I said, I'm going to end this. Sorry, the video. There's nothing in the fucking thing that indicates anything about what Trump is saying, and there's a reason why even Piro herself had to drop the case.
Has anyone heard about they're planning to cut down all the cherry trees there to expand a golf course?
I've heard that too.
Yeah, I heard that there's going to basically be destroyed. That's still on hold.
I really hope that they do not do that.
Now, we'll talk about the statues in a sec. Correct me if I'm wrong. Weren't those cherry trees a gift from Japan after World War II?
Sure
yes,
were.
They were, as a sign of peace.
So he wants to get rid of that. And then the gold statue was a gift from Italy after World War II, also as a symbol of peace.
Which is bronze, not gold.
He takes the bronze statue and he has people put not quite, but almost 14 karat gold plating, essentially.
Leaf.
I said plating, essentially. Okay, I know it was gold leaf, but
I think gold leaf was different than plating.
Yeah, it's how it's put on. One's using electricity, the other one's using hammers and skill. I will say, putting gold leaf on it is a lot more skillful than using electricity to plate it. But to me, this is like,
sorry. Go ahead.
JP says leaf is cheaper. I don't know if it actually is, considering the skill required.
No, I'm not having sex with my Alexa Gap.
I think leaf
have
is
no sex life.
Is it not? Like if you use electroplating, I believe you get a thicker deposit.
It would depend on how much gold leaf, how many layers of gold leaf they put on.
Hmm.
My grandfather had somebody add gold leaf to a walnut oak credenza,
Mm-hmm.
or sorry, a walnut credenza, not oak. I don't know why I said that.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, it had this tree pattern on the side and on that had like leaves going towards the front,
Right.
and a single layer of gold leaf was like $1,000, but my grandfather had like 2 layers put on because he didn't want it to chip or flake off after a few years.
Right.
So I don't know how many layers were done here. I know that the estimates for the cost was between $5 and $5.1 million, which is not a lot considering how much Trump loves gold. So I don't know how many layers they actually put on it. But
He sure does love spending money on things he probably doesn't need to spend money on. Where did he get the money for all these projects?
It's part of the budget that for what was it? The Parks and Services.
Oh, super. So, what was the money supposed to go to for parks?
It was money. It was money allocated for the 250th anniversary of the United States.
Okay.
Technically, this statue was supposed to be done before that, but it was a no-bid contract, and it took longer than they said it was going to.
I think Gap just typed in exactly what Laura Loomer posted, word for word. I can't believe he just did that.
The statue is cast in bronze. Yeah, bronze tarnishes, but it's a work of art in of itself, and it was a gift from an enemy that was trying to show that they have changed and they are now our ally.
Mm-hmm.
Because somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't about 15, 20 years ago, New York wanted to refurbish the Statue of Liberty to make sure it's not green anymore, and they said, nope, it's a waste of taxpayers' money?
Yeah,
well,
that would be because it went through the proper processes. I'm sure if there'd been an actual review of these project ideas, there maybe would have been some pushback.
It's not necessarily just that, JP's. One, this was 20. I'm going to estimate it to be 24 karat gold, but I think they actually said it was 23 point something karat gold. And to get into the nooks and crannies, you actually have to use a hammer. It's not just rubbing it in. It's it's a lot more involved than that. But the reason I'm upset about it is it's ruining a statue. It's like going to the Statue of Liberty and wanting to paint it red, white, and blue.
Or going to Philadelphia, climbing the steps, and seeing Rocky with the Joker face paint on his face. Like, what the fuck? This is not what it was supposed to be intended for.
Well, maybe not quite, but yeah.
But you don't take our national monuments and change them on a whim.
Well, yes, you do. That's what he does.
And he still calls the Rose Garden the Rose Garden, although there's no roses in that garden whatsoever.
Are there not roses around the edges still?
No.
Nope. No. There's 0 roses in the so-called Rose Garden, and he still calls it the Rose Garden.
Ugh.
But
the next person makes some improvements to his improvements. Not necessarily just reversals or whatever, because obviously money was spent and shit. But they could put some fucking roses back in.
Well, right now there is some construction in front of the White House, claiming they're replacing the door for security reasons, but they're messing with the columns, not the door.
Yeah, no, I heard that. He wanted fancier columns.
Yeah, the excuses of the door, but the door has not been touched whatsoever. Only the columns have.
Let's see. I'm gonna bring up an example of something, or another example that's also in DC.
Talk about the Grand Prix race.
All right.
If you want, we could see about sending some Canadians down to just burn the whole place to the ground again.
1812, yes.
I mean, just
All right.
throwing the idea out there.
Yes, 1812 again.
Now, for those that don't know, when I last visited DC, one of the reasons we went was so my dad could visit this. This was the Vietnam War Memorial Wall.
Yeah.
And that was because my dad fought in Vietnam, and he wanted to, one, look up 2 family members that died in Vietnam, as well as looking up servicemen that he served with, or at least knew, who also died in Vietnam.
Right.
Now, if you notice, the names are just carved in to the big slab of marble.
Yeah.
How would you guys feel if Trump decided to, spice it up by, putting gold leaf in every single person's name?
That's a
To me,
waste.
I would consider that an insult to everybody who died in Vietnam, especially considering Trump famously dodged the draft for the Vietnam War.
And his little AI videos of him in the Revolutionary War with him doing the Vietnam thing. What the fuck?
Yes, I will just extend a good morning to Gap, JPs, and LDG.
We didn't say his name 3 times. Why do you show up?
Because he's
I don't know.
Listening.
Florida man.
So yeah, basically the statue was stupid. The reflecting pool was stupid. It's doing things that don't need to be done to praise something that shouldn't need to be praised.
Yeah, Jay says it's not an insult, more of an honor. You mean the gold on all the names?
I don't know.
Yeah, no.
Because it depends. Like what would be the point of it? Does it make them more honored to have gold stuffed onto their engraved name? Not really. I think it's supposed to be sort of like solemn, not fancy. Like, I just don't see the point of putting the.
Yeah, it's supposed to be solemn. It's not supposed to be gaudy.
I don't think the gold leaf represents what he thinks it represents. Like, I don't know. It seems weird. Like, I mean, it doesn't really bother me. The Vietnam monument doesn't really, have a lot of meaning because Canada did not join that particular conflict, I don't believe. And I don't believe Britain joined that particular conflict either.
I don't know if you guys actually sent soldiers, but I think you did send material.
Oh, I'm sure we would have, supported allies and stuff. But I think the last one the one around the Korean War, I know we were involved in that one, but.
And I don't think Canada really liked the Korean War because they didn't commit any atrocities.
I know. It's very disappointing. Barely seems like a conflict with Canada in it if there's no war crimes committed.
Moving on to the next topic. Which one do you guys want to go to? Do you want to go to the flock cameras, or do you want to go to the
well, I actually wanted
race to Spone?
I wanted to say something else about the gold.
Okay.
All right, quickly.
Scott Bassnett claimed the treasurer conducted the inspection of the gold at Fort Knox, but there's no record of anybody entering Fort Knox to inspect the gold.
Sorry, say that again.
Scott Bassnett claimed that the Treasury Department conducted its annual audit of the gold at Fort Knox, but there's no record of anybody actually entering Fort Knox to inspect the gold.
Okay, I'm confused.
So you're saying
talking about
not the gold at Fort Knox because no one physically checked?
We're talking about gold. I thought I'd mention it up because people are complaining that, hey, Where's the gold point off? It hasn't been inspected since 1947. Best had stated that the Treasury Department already did it, but there's no record of them actually going there. And that's all that's been said. This was done about 2.5 weeks ago, and nothing mentioned.
Thank you for the clarification, JPs. I know officially Canada was not a part of that particular conflict, but yes, I'm sure that we're Canadians who volunteered to go and lend a hand.
All right, so yeah, I'll leave it to you guys. You want to do the domestic terrorist who erased his phone, or do you want to talk about the flock cameras? Because the F-35 crash and stuff, I'm going to talk about last because that was here in San Diego.
I don't know what you want to talk about with regards to the erased phone or the flock cameras. So, well, either one will be fine.
Then I know a little bit about the phone. We'll go with the phone only because I'll explain some things.
Sure.
I want to know a little bit about the phone issue.
All right. So basically, what happened with the phone and why this guy is being accused with destroying evidence. He was returning to the U.S. From out of country. He had been put on a terrorist watch list because he's part of the group Defend Atlanta Forest. It's called the Defend Atlantis Forest Movement. Basically, these are people who, you've seen the jokes. People who chain themselves to trees, or they try to prevent companies.
Green Earthers.
Yeah, we got lots of those in BC.
So that's basically that group. It's people who try to prevent logging through either illegal or quasi-legal means.
I was kind of guessing they'd turn up on those cherry trees if it got to that point. And I wouldn't blame them. I'd be happy that they were doing it. Like, honestly, I mean, I think it's a crazy thing, but I don't hate the concept.
Oh, yeah. But again, they mostly are just in the Atlanta, Georgia region, not in like the entirety of the U.S. They just focus on that one area because that's where they live.
Sure. Makes sense.
Now, so that's why he was detained by U.S. Customs.
Okay.
And when they detained him, he said, okay, I'd like to speak with an attorney. And they said, basically, no.
Okay.
Again, he was also detained, and they never read him his Miranda rights as well. And then they demanded that he turn over his phone and unlock it because they, without any evidence, were suggesting that he had child pornography on his phone. Now, remember, they're arresting him because of his involvement with a forestry service, essentially.
At an airport?
This was at an airport.
Okay. Go on.
So the fact that he may or may not have had child pornography, I'm not defending that at all, but it has nothing to do with his quote-unquote domestic terrorism watch list stuff.
Well, and evidence. They would have to have... No, I guess at the airport, they don't have to have evidence. They can just ask you to unlock your phone.
Nope, they still need a warrant to actually unlock your phone.
Yeah, they still need a warrant, and they're again, he was denied access to an attorney.
Yeah, well, and if they didn't read him his rights, that just kind of...
So what he did is he happened to have a phone that has a specialized OS on it called the Graphene OS.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the features of this operating system is if you put in a certain code, it erases everything on the phone.
Oh, clever.
So after being told several times to give them the code to unlock his phone, he finally provided them with the code to erase everything, and they put it in, which then erased everything on the phone. Even the potential child pornography they said was on it. Now, again, they had no evidence. How you doing, Positive?
I am doing well.
They had no evidence that there was any child pornography on there. He's never been accused of it at any other point in his life. I would assume that because police are allowed to lie to suspects, I think they were trying to say, oh, you've got this on your phone. You got to prove that you don't. And it was a ploy to unlock his phone, to look at anything else that was related to the Arbor movement that he was part of, or the forestry movement.
Everything should be revealed on a pretrial when they actually go over the interview itself, because there's usually audio or video of an interview. If there's not, then there's lack of evidence in case we be dropped or dismissed.
Well, this was not an iPhone LDG. This was an Android. Another reason why
it doesn't matter what phone. What I'm saying it doesn't matter what kind of phone it is. What I'm saying is, if they did not actually have the audio recording for the interview, that's inadmissible, which means anything else is admissible in court. Charges will be dropped and dismissed. If they do play the audio, I want to find out what kind of questions were asked. Or if he actually willingly did this, like if they said, "Give me your phone," and he said, "Okay, here, put this code in," boom, 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 boom. If there's no interaction of them trying to pressure him, then yeah, this guy must be doing something. But if I want to hear the actual conversation or read the transcript of the interview itself before this phone got allegedly erased. That's the important part. We can hear hearsay and left say and right say and all this say, but what actually comes down to is what was said during that interview.
I agree, but there is no, as far as I know, that interview was not recorded.
Okay, that's easily be dismissible in court.
Yeah, I would think so, especially if they didn't have a warrant to.
No warrant, no rights. Yeah,
any evidence that they would have gathered from the phone would have been inadmissible if there was no.
Exactly.
No warrant.
Charges dismissed. It may be without prejudice, but
a gap. They were scoping him out. They had him in. They had an eye on him because he's part of.
He had been put on a domestic terrorist watch list because he's part of a group called Defend Atlanta Forest Movement. They are people that try to prevent logging of cutting down of certain trees in the Atlanta, Georgia area. And not everything that group does is 100% legal. So
it's in Atlanta.
Atlanta, Georgia, yeah.
How come the government hasn't detained any Antifa members if they're so-called domestic terrorists?
It wasn't Hanstar, was
it? I don't think
Chris
so.
said no. I asked Chris that question. He said no comment.
Right.
Well, yeah, as I said, JP's, this group does do things that are both illegal and quasi-legal. But they don't do, they're not going around hurting anybody or killing anybody. It's mostly like chaining themselves to trees to prevent them being from cut down.
Or chaining themselves to equipment that's used to cut down.
Yeah. They don't actually destroy any equipment. They don't hurt anybody. But it does cost those companies money, and it costs time and makes delays for certain things. So that apparently is enough to get you put on a domestic terrorist watch list.
Now, if they were to cut a wire when they're protesting, then they can be charged with felony charge. But all they're doing is just stopping people. It's like, hey, we're chaining ourselves. We're speaking up. There's no physical violence, no spitting, nothing. This is all they do.
Yeah, one of the things that they were most famous for was literally trying to prevent a certain government building from being built or expanded on. That would involve cutting down a several 100-year-old tree. And what they did was they printed out a bunch of leaflets and spread it around town. And a lot of them were arrested for that because of quote unquote littering and anti-pollution practices.
That's a bit of a stretch, but sure.
They gotta try to find something to press charges against them with.
So yeah, these people are a nuisance. They're not. Yeah, leaflets on paper. Yeah.
The irony.
But remember, if you're recycled paper is a thing, as well as paper is better to use than plastic in a lot of cases because it can, trees do grow. You can plant trees and harvest them just like any other crop. But the specific trees they were referring, they're trying to protect are culturally significant or old growth trees, not just, new ones. So yeah. But apparently that was enough to get put on the watch list, be labeled a domestic terrorist, and now he's at this potential free speech and rights issue.
The Trump administration inadvertently made this guy famous because they recently said, yes, you can now cut, drill, and do whatever you want on protected lands of indigenous species. So I have a feeling this group is going to start doing some more protesting on federal land that Trump said you can erase these indigenous species, do all you want, cut down this forest, drill this oil, whatever. So I think they're going to be making a little bit of noise pretty soon.
Well, as I said, this group is not an evil group. They just don't do everything by the book.
Like I said, making some noise.
So now the issue with the free speech is, one, if it's your phone, are they going to start trying to say you cannot install this type of program on your phone because it could be used to cover up a crime? Now, remember, part of their argument was he had child pornography on his phone. Would we want someone who actually has child pornography on their device to have access to this program?
Look at the metadata. Is it on his metadata or the self? Does it prove on the metadata? Oh, wait, they didn't have a fucking warrant. Never mind. They can't find out.
But what I'm just saying is, like, what if, you actually had somebody? Would you consider that destruction of evidence?
Well, they still would have had to have reasonable cause, and they would have had to have a warrant.
Now, in this case, they didn't have reasonable cause as far as I'm concerned. Granted, all the facts are not out, all the evidence isn't out, but
well, I think
it does make you want to think, and that's why I wanted to bring this specific one up.
I think if you're walking around with child pornography on your phone, you're probably too stupid to have thought to download that program. Like, who would have that on their phone? Like, that's just stupid. I don't think it's bad, but
yeah, that's one of the issues with it, JPs, is because it's open source, they're not going to be able to, stop it from being spread around.
Yeah.
But what they could start doing is basically saying that just having this OS is is evidence of guilt.
It'll end up at the Supreme Court. I don't think they'd be able to argue that very well. I don't think this particular administration would be able to argue that very well.
Probably not, but I would say that it's like drug paraphernalia. Back before weed was legal, there was a guy who used to sell at the swap meets with me.
Mm-hmm.
Not with me, but he used to sell right across from me.
He was there as well.
He sold glass pipes for tobacco smoking.
Right.
And he would put on his display cases, and I know because I actually bought 2 of his display cases off of him when he went out of business. It says for tobacco use only everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Even though everybody knew, I knew like 100% that he was a stoner. You picture your idea of a hippie in your head. That's what this guy looked like.
He's one of those industrious hippies, though.
Yeah. Everybody also knew that he, when people were buying it, they were buying it for weed.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, even though those were all labeled for tobacco use only, they were sold under the idea of being a tobacco product or tobacco-related paraphernalia.
Mm-hmm.
If a cop arrests you because they saw you smoking out of that pipe, that in and of itself is evidence for committing a crime because it is a glass pipe being used to smoke something, regardless of whether it was actually being used for tobacco.
Well, get this. I remember in the 90s in Phoenix, Arizona, this was considered drug paraphernalia if you had no rolling tobacco on you. If you only had rolling papers on you, you're in possession of drug paraphernalia.
Yeah.
Rolling papers? But what if you're just
Yeah.
rolling?
Yes. In the 90s in Phoenix, Arizona, if you had rolling papers without tobacco, it's considered possession of a narcotic product, of an illegal product.
No, it was. They could use it as evidence that you had committed a crime.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether your intentions with the purchase were actually legal or not.
Yeah. So if you had rolling papers and no tobacco, and a cop actually stops you, you could be fucked.
But but wouldn't they need additional evidence? Because you could just say,
nope, not. This was Joe Arpaio, who was the second in charge of cop in Phoenix, Arizona, before he became county sheriff.
Well, not including Joe Arpaio because he's a fucking fascist to begin with.
Yes, I hate. I know.
But like here in California, if all you had on you was the rolling papers, they could, detain you, but they would let you go because there was no other evidence of any crimes.
I was going to say,
the thing is, the possession of the pipe or the rolling papers would be evidence alone for them to be able to detain you.
Well, yeah, they could justify looking into your stuff farther. Like they could,
yes,
they would use it as potential, like as probable cause to look for additional, to look for drugs.
And then that's on one side of the, just having something is evidence of potential other crimes. Because if you walk around with a gun on you, they cannot use that as evidence that you might commit a crime.
No.
So basically,
that's the word.
Cool, whether this type of operating system on your phone is to the level of, a glass pipe for smoking tobacco or a gun.
Well, I mean, and it's also possible that he deleted all the stuff, not because he had anything particularly incriminating on his phone, but just because he wants this to go to the Supreme Court. Like, it's possible they're pushing, sometimes activists do push for things to go to higher courts.
It's possible he could be, a digital Rosa Parks.
Uh-huh.
Rosa Parks
was lots of stuff
set up. It wasn't impromptu thing
in recent years based solely on that idea. Oh my God, those zombie chicken babies are so noisy today. They're peeping their little hearts out in the shed.
I don't have any screens. I only got bags of screens, Jeff. Jay.
I'll go ahead and switch over to the flock camera thing.
Okay.
Because this is also, potential invasion of your rights and stuff. And the reason specifically I wanted to bring up the flock cameras is, one, we've had some accidents regarding the flock cameras here in San Diego. Apparently, 2 of them fell down under their own accord, and the cameras were damaged.
Yeah, Mike. Before we start, can you explain to people who are watching or rewatching what exactly is the purpose of a flock camera?
All right. Okay. So a flock camera is basically a multi-lens camera system that can detect things both invisible and infrared and ultraviolet wavelengths. It's primarily used to capture faces, license plates, and other things of a personal nature like that. They're put on public and state-owned property, primarily. For some reason, a lot of them are being placed around Home Depots, Lowe's, Walmarts, and areas of high traffic where people tend to shop and potentially have day laborers congregate.
Reword that. Pedestrian traffic.
well, specifically where day laborers.
Yeah, pedestrian traffic, not car traffic, where a lot of people gather.
No, they also are around where the cars are because they basically take a snapshot of every single license plate they see.
Then why are they in parks?
Because they're, as I said, they're capable of that. I'm not saying that they're not being used for other things as well.
They're basically surveillance cameras.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, I know.
all that information is put into a database where and police agencies across the country can have access to that database to track anyone that, like, if you upload a picture of your mom, it would tell you, oh, everywhere that it had seen your mother, or someone who at least looked like your mother, and the date and times where it saw it. Or if your mother has a registered car, it would say where it detected the license plates from those the car that your mother's registered to.
Which, in the case of my mom, would probably be really good because if she was out wandering around, we'd probably need to find her.
Now, the reason I specifically wanted to bring up the flock cameras was because of a case in Texas. There was a woman who found out she was pregnant. She said that she wanted to get rid of the baby, and her family was heavily against her doing that. And when she went missing, they told the police, our daughter is missing, and she was talking about getting an abortion. So the local law enforcement for that area did a flock camera search and requesting all surveillance data for this individual across the entire country, with the purpose of following Texas anti-abortion law, which states that if you are a woman and you get an abortion, even if you travel to a state where abortion is legal, you will be thrown in jail and under murder charges. So yeah, apparently that's what the flock cameras were being used for in this case. And it was found, that she had traveled out of Texas to get a back alley abortion, if you want to think about what I mean by that. And she is, as of right now, they have said they're not going to press charges, mostly because of the negative attention that this case has received so far. But
As it should.
Also saying that they are well within their rights to actually charge her for getting an abortion, even though the state where she got the abortion is legal.
Well, do they have proof that she had an abortion?
Yes. So basically, think of it this way. We were talking about weed earlier. Weed has been once again made illegal in Texas. So imagine you live in Texas, but you go to California to smoke some weed. And you happen to do it within range of a flock camera. You can come back to Texas and get arrested for smoking weed in California.
Sounds like your best bet is if you have to leave Texas for some reason, don't go back.
And right now, it's been reported that over 20 cops have been arrested for using flock cameras to stalk women.
Yeah, that's one of the things I've heard about them.
Yeah.
I think mass surveillance is generally not cool.
Right now, JP's, I'm of the opinion that the only reason they didn't actually charge her yet was, one, they said, they were within their rights to charge her under Texas law, because their reasoning is you are a Texas citizen, therefore you are subject to Texas laws even outside of the state of Texas.
If that's the case, then any Hawaiian going to Vegas to gamble should automatically be arrested upon entering the island again because there's no gambling allowed in Hawaii.
Well, again, any state would be able to use these types of arguments.
Yeah, I know.
And I think
Same principle.
Sounds to me
They
like this is
don't
another
want
one of
these-
those cases that should probably end up at the Supreme Court, which is
And
where I
that's
was
why
feeling.
I believe they didn't actually press the charges against her, is because they don't want this to go to the Supreme Court yet.
Right. Yeah,
Because
that's very possible.
as biased as the current Supreme Court is, I think that with public sentiment the way it is, I don't think they could get away with it as much as they want to.
Yeah. Very
So
possible.
I think that's why the charges were ultimately dropped. Now, because of this case and me looking up some of the specifics about it, I've been getting a lot of advertisements for flock cameras.
Oh my gosh.
Super.
Fucking algorithms.
Yeah. And I wanted to point out a little story where, similar to what you were kind of saying, Dandelion. Apparently, the flock cameras were used to find a lost elderly relative with dementia, and that's why they're so good.
Yeah.
They were touting that as, a benefit. Another case that they were talking about was a dad abducted his daughter from her mother, and they were able to find and locate his car by tracking his license plate number, and they were able to arrest him within 3 hours of her abduction. Well, that's the problem, JPs. Every state is different when it comes to what they consider a criminal charge. As I said, Texas considers abortion and marijuana usage a crime worth using the flock camera system for. Now imagine every police officer has access to this system. They don't even need to give an actual reason why they want access to the system. A lot of these law enforcement officials have been using it on ICE's behalf to try to find certain individuals, regardless of their actual status as American citizens or not.
Yeah, be glad ICE does not have access to it itself personally. Just law enforcement. Local.
But the system
I
isn't
think
separated by state. The system is separated throughout the entire country.
I think what's going to happen is there's going to have to be quite strict regulations around what instances you can use this in. Like it can't just I don't think it should be so like easy access for all police for any reason whatsoever.
Well,
right? Like, yeah, if they're looking for like an elderly, Alzheimer's patient that's wandered off, or looking for a child, looking for like, somebody who's suspected of having committed a serious crime. But I don't think just like, oh, we think our daughter's gone to marry her boyfriend in another state or something like that. I don't think that sort of thing.
Well, I will give you a list of other things that the flock camera system has been used for in the last 3 months. Over 900 police officers have looked up their ex-wives.
Yeah, see, that's inappropriate use. I don't think you should be able to do that.
Several have looked up their ex-wives' current husbands. Several have looked up their girlfriends. And by several, I mean more than 100.
Mm-hmm.
Several have looked up themselves. Some have looked up prominent politicians.
Yeah.
And again, you do not need a warrant or a reason currently to use this system.
I think that
This-
would be maybe where you could that might be where it has to go. Is you have to have a warrant.
I got a question. London is considered the most eyed on city on the planet. There's basically about maybe 5 to 7% that's not covered by camera. How does that compare to the flock cameras in America? Since they're so secure and big brothered over there, how does that compare to the flock cameras here being placed?
Well, the difference primarily, from what I understand about the London system versus this system, is the London system only captures stuff for a short amount of time. They don't have these massive servers that can hold the information for that long. The flock cameras, that data stays there, period, as long as they have the space for it.
That's why I want to build more data centers, huh?
And yeah, that's one of the reasons why they want more data centers, is so they can keep this information permanently.
That bubble's gonna pop.
Two, the flock camera system is not a government program. This is a business doing this.
Yeah.
It is a business that is storing all this information and then selling that information to the police.
So
Yeah.
how do we guarantee this business is not going to get hacked?
How do we guarantee that this business isn't selling that data for other reasons?
Yeah, why is it okay for a business to sell somebody's personal information, but an individual cannot?
I mean, does McDonald's need to know my position every time I'm close to a McDonald's?
McDonald's wouldn't care how close I was. I'd never go there.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've been to McDonald's, man. I can't remember last time, like a year or 2 years ago. I don't eat
go to
The last
McDonald's.
time I went was when I was in the car with someone who went to McDonald's. I didn't buy anything. I don't eat fast food. So.
I go to Jack in the Box more. It's better.
Oh, yeah, I don't
Personally,
eat
I go to
fast
McDonald's fairly often, but I usually go for a soda and I leech off their Wi-Fi anyway.
Oh, dude, the
Right.
cheesesteaks at Jack in the Box, they are fire.
food. Yeah, I just don't eat at fast food places.
Oh.
I just find it's a waste of money. Like I'd rather go, I don't eat out very often, and I'd rather go somewhere that actually has food that's better than what I could cook at home if I'm going to spend money on eating out.
It used to be a trope. It's cheaper to eat fast food and make it yourself. Now it's actually cheaper to make it yourself and go to a fast food place.
Well, I don't know.
Well,
it's always been more efficient to make it yourself.
it-
I don't know. I just find it
It's
healthier.
both. It's a both, Elihu, because the poorer you are, the cheaper it is to eat fast food.
Oh yeah.
And it's because there are incidental costs related to making food at home that most people don't factor in when they're doing their budgets. I'm not going to say, anything about them personally, but there was people I knew back in high school who the house they lived in, they couldn't afford to keep the water and power on for large portions of the time she was in high school.
Yeah.
So her family ate out a lot because they couldn't cook the damn food and keep it cold or keep it hot if they wanted to.
Yeah, back then it was cheap.
So it wasn't like they could just buy, a steak and season it, marinate it overnight, and cook it the next day. If they wanted a steak, they had to go out to eat. It was the only way they could get a cooked one, and they'd have to eat the whole thing. They wouldn't be able to store it because they had no working refrigerator.
Been there, done that. Remember Katrina? Been there, done that. Eat daily. Eat food daily.
I remember one of the saddest stories was, she wanted to borrow my Game Boy because they didn't have a TV, they didn't have a VCR, they didn't even have electricity to play it, and the Game Boy ran on batteries. So, yeah, kind of a sad situation back then.
No, you're wrong, Gap. It's Chick-fil-A.
Oh, I can guarantee you Chick-fil-A isn't tracking me only because I would not be caught dead going to a Chick-fil-A again.
What about Jollibee's?
Never been to one.
I believe they're overrated. They just opened up here, and it's like $13 for a cheap value meal. Chicken
I
sandwich,
only know
and
of
fries.
one in all of San Diego. I don't know how many there actually are in San Diego, but I just happen to know of one. I've never been there.
The peach pies are better than McDonald's apple pies, but they don't have the purple pies.
But yeah, I would never go to a Chick-fil-A because of one bad experience there. God, it even happened like a very long time ago, but I just happened to go to a Chick-fil-A with some friends because they wanted the chicken sandwiches. But just so happened, one of the friends who I went with was a lesbian couple. And because they were holding hands in the lobby, we were asked to leave.
Jeez.
And
Not really a surprise, though. I mean, that's how they roll at Chick-fil-A.
I will give the store credit. They did give us a refund. They just said they weren't going to give us any food. So at least they gave us a refund and didn't keep our money.
I don't think they would legally be able to keep your money. They can refuse service, but they're not going to be able to, keep your cash.
I think it would depend, but I don't know exactly the laws on that.
Right.
So, anything else you guys want to mention about the flock cameras or how you feel about them?
I don't know. I don't like the whole concept of being surveilled, but I don't know. I just think there needs to be really strict regulations around the instant. I think you need to have a warrant to get the data. I don't think that that's the kind of information that should just be like somebody's business. I just think it should be, well regulated. Again, regulation. Like everyone's like, no regulations. It's like, you know what? I think you need some regulations.
And Mrs. Vile's in the house. Everyone say hi to Mrs. Vile.
Good morning, Mrs. Vile. Like, I think there's lots of beneficial uses that could be found for them, but I think that, like people like stalking their exes or their exes' new, relationships and weird shit like that.
Oh,
or like
it's worse than that, Dandelion.
Or tracking people who are out of state doing things that are legal in those states. Like, that's just silliness.
It's worse than that, Dandelion, because several of the officers that had been caught using it to track their significant other or their ex-wives or ex-girlfriends and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Currently had restraining orders against them.
Yeah.
As in, like, those women had restraining orders against those officers, and then they were using this system to track them anyway.
Yeah.
That's the equivalent of hiring a private detective or a private investigator to follow your ex when you have a restraining order on them.
Yeah. Well, yeah, not good.
Mike, what happened in...
I don't think that the benefits outweigh the risks at this point. I think definitely, I would say regulations are required.
And I'll be honest, I don't like the idea of a company having access to this. I would much rather I'd rather have the London system where all the cameras are owned by the government.
Yeah, no,
that's why I asked that question. Yeah, that's why I asked that question. What's the difference?
I mean, your current government is a little on the nefarious side too, so.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if I had a choice between one or the other.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I just think there needs to be stricter regulations around its use. Like, there's lots of things you can do that could be extremely beneficial for having them, but I don't think your regular beat cop should be able to just access the data. I think that it should be like, you get a warrant and you apply to get the data from the organization, preferably government organization that is not monitoring, but that is collecting that data.
Yeah.
I agree that it shouldn't just be a private company.
Hey, Mike, what happened in Miramar, California?
Thank you for letting us go to the next subject. Yeah. Now, the overall, I'm going to talk about the F-35 crash, but what I wanted to primarily bring it up, the reason behind it was, one, it happened in San Diego, and two, because of military incompetence right now. And basically, this is the 7th military aircraft that has crashed in the last, 15 months?
Hang on a second. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 since March 2nd to today.
Yeah, but some of those were in Iran, so.
Well, I just checked
How many
for
within
all
the continental U.S.?
2. June
In the last
13th.
15 months? Because I thought it was 7.
June 13th was in Washington State when we got a military aircraft crashed in mountain terrain during a training operation. And the recent one was the F-35B Lightning II crashed while attempting a vertical landing. Anything else I got information here is shot down, lost in Russia, got operations in Iran, Southwest Iran, Western Iran, Kuwait. Yeah, all I can find is Washington and California.
Didn't they have a bunch fall off of an aircraft carrier somewhere?
All right, so according to the FAA, I just looked it up. In the entirety of 2025, there was 39 Class A aviation mishaps, which would be incidents involving a loss of life, permanent total disability of the person, an entirely destroyed aircraft, or financial damages exceeding $2.5 million.
Somebody scratched the wing. Uh-oh.
Yeah, so scratch the wing doesn't count.
Flat tire, that's 1.3 mil.
So these Class A mishaps, there was 39 total in 2025. As of July 2026, there's been over 50. So basically, yeah, I was even much further off than because when I looked it up originally, when I was looking at military aircraft crashes, I was looking up just fighter jets. There, if you include all other military aircraft, it's a lot more. And there's a lot more crashes happening.
I feel sorry for the mechanics right now. All the hard fucking work they put into that plane they worked on, and it gets scrapped and crashed, and now they got to go to a brand new fucking project. I feel sorry for those mechanics, man. I really do. I don't feel sorry for the pilots. I feel sorry for the mechanics. Because every plane they work on, that is their project. They don't do any other thing. They don't tighten a screw for another plane. No, they work on one specific plane. That's it. Now they got to do. Did
you say one Pacific plane?
Yeah, one Pacific. Yeah, I did. Sorry, one specific plane or a helicopter. One craft. Yeah, they don't tighten the bolts with somebody else. Yeah,
kind of cute because this was in California. So
well, I want to point out this specifically wasn't just an F-35. This was an F-35B.
B Lightning II. Yeah, I know.
All F-35s are Lightning IIs.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
I was thinking of the F-15s. Sorry, I was thinking of the F-15s. Okay, sorry.
So this jet cost. Let me do the math real quick. 25 gold statues or gold leaf covered statues.
So it cost $8 million.
Oh my god!
It costs about $110 million.
That's a lot of money.
And that's specifically because this is the vertical takeoff and landing version. But as I said, the number of military crashes have gone up a lot in the last 6 months.
Yes.
And it's further evidence of the military incompetence that the United States has right now. And I wanted to relate that to the 2,000-pound bomb that we just dropped on a house in Iran, killing a mother and child, apparently on accident.
Oh, good. I mean, I suppose that's better than on purpose.
The mission itself was on purpose.
Oh yeah, no, for sure, absolutely. I'm sure it wasn't,
but
So, I
I couldn't verify which aircraft was actually carrying this ordnance. It was either, according to sources, it was either an F-15, an F-16, or an FA-18.
Hmm.
All those FA-18s.
And
So sleek.
I decided to do some math regarding this thing. So essentially, they dropped the bomb because they were supposed to be hitting a military target. That's what they thought they were doing. Except that there is no evidence that this house was a military target, not even a terrorist target.
Like the
And
school.
it's not even like you could have accidentally said, oh, we dropped it near a military base, because apparently there's not a military asset held by Iran even remotely close to this house. So somebody dropped the ball, or several somebodies dropped the ball on this mission to begin with. And I want to point out, depending on the type of fighter that actually was used, and the fact that fighters are never fly alone, they're always flown in pairs or more. So if you include the fact that this was probably launched from an Allied base or an aircraft carrier, and the flight times and fuel and everything needed for a mission of this caliber, the United States just spent about $25 million to bomb and kill 2 innocent people.
Well, at least they're sparing no expense.
But again, like another giant catastrophic loss,
Absolutely.
resources and life.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The whole thing is completely unacceptable.
And let's face it, the current military personnel in charge, I'm going to point specifically to Drunk Hegseth, is a fucking moron.
Yes. Yes, he is.
And they're putting morons in charge of everything.
Yep.
And I guarantee you that's how something like this happens.
Yes.
They're more concerned about taking out the enemy without any evidence that the enemy's even there than even bothering to be mournful of the fact that they just killed innocent people.
Do you remember when the A-10 Thunderbolt went down, but they're not saying how it went down? Let me refresh your memory. The F-15E strike was shot down during combat in southwestern Iraq. Both crew members were later rescued. An A-10 Thunderbolt 2 was lost during a rescue operation, but not saying how it was lost. Either it crashed or shot down. The U.S. government is not releasing that information how it was quote-unquote lost. All it says is lost during rescue operation. This is an unknown one. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? This happened April 3rd, and there's still no information about this.
Well,
All it says is lost during a rescue operation for the F-15E crew. Pilot survived. That's all it says. Like, what the fuck?
well, if you want to think of it this way, and I'm going to bust out my little calculator app real quick because I want to make sure I get the numbers correct, including the crash of this F-35, the bombing or the accidental bombing in Iran, and the fucking reflecting pool and statue. I'm just going to calculate those things real quick. So we have 15. Sorry.
You know what it's coming down to? I don't think you can afford to have Trump as your president. He's just way too expensive. He's like a high maintenance girlfriend.
All right. Times 1 million. Sorry, I was just doing basic. So I got to multiply everything by 1 million now.
Sure.
That's 6
As one
zeros.
does. Oh my God, zombie chickens, you've got to shut up. Oh my God.
All right. So the amount of taxpayer money, for the average amount that a taxpayer owes the government every year, this bombing, the statue, the reflecting pool, and the loss of this aircraft is the tax dollars of 77,500 Americans. That means these fuck ups is all the tax revenue given by 77,500 Americans.
Sheesh.
No wonder they want more population. Too bad they won't just let.
Oh
like,
shit! Yeah, they
Won't let
but
more
they
brown
want
people
more
in
population, but they're
taxes.
against people coming to the United States.
Right? People that pay like loads of taxes but don't get any benefits. Super.
Yeah, they want to pull condoms out of schools.
Yeah. I don't know. There's an awful lot of cutting off your nose to spite your face going on. I mean, most of those people are coming from like fairly strictly religious countries. They'd be more likely to be conservative than liberal, but whatever.
Yeah,
I mean,
because
Tim
they're
Walsh,
wrong
Tim
kind of
Walsh put
conservative.
Tim
That's the
Walsh
problem.
put tampons in the boys' restroom. I'm like, I understand that. What if a girl's kind of in the meeting and a brother's helping somebody out? Yeah, I understand that. Now he wanted to put condoms in the girls' restroom. They're like, well, why do girls need condoms? I'm like, responsibility? Sometimes the guys are not responsible at fucking all. Aren't you a guy? Come on.
Well, they shouldn't have to go into the boys' room if they don't want to just to get condoms.
I know. Girls should have access to condoms as well as boys in high school. Because I'm a guy. I know how fucking irresponsible I am.
Most high schools and stuff in Canada will give away free condoms if you just go to the like guidance office. They usually have a bowl of them.
Well, that's
Other than
nice.
Yeah,
That's a
the
good thing.
places like that.
Skittle colors and all that. Yeah. No,
Oh,
totally.
and I decided to do a little bit more math. And how you doing, LDG?
Hello. Good morning.
Basically, if you were to think of it this way,
Hey.
the fuck ups we're talking about this episode cost every single tax-paying American about $1 of their tax revenue.
That doesn't seem so bad. That's like about what it costs us, and it doesn't even just a little bit more than what it costs us to have a royal family. I think that's about like 75 cents of our tax dollars or something.
Yeah, but this is just fuck ups this week.
Oh, hello, Mike. I think we lost you there.
No, we didn't. I heard him. I said fuck up last week. That's all I heard.
Yeah, but then he's cut out.
Sorry.
Oh.
No,
Yeah,
that's okay.
that's just the amount of fuck ups that this country has cost us this week.
Oh, this week. Yikes.
Oh.
So,
That's not
Let's
great.
calculate that since January 1st, dude.
Hey, I got a quick one. Should we do a quick do we need to take bets on whether they announce Mitch McConnell is dead this week?
no, I'm not going to do that because right now he's Schrodinger's politician.
Right.
Yeah, but that signature was deemed fake.
Well, it wasn't fake. It was just it was a printout. Like, you know how you can save your signature on
Auto
your
print, yeah. Auto print, yeah.
computer and stuff. Yeah. So it was just like an auto pen, basically. But
Which means somebody in his office forged a
well,
senator's
they might not do
signature.
it right away, but I bet you they will do it. But you know what I think Andy Bashir is going to do? He's going to say, "Well, there's not time for a special election, but I'm going to appoint somebody just till the end of the term."
You know, it's funny how AI can act like a visual or an image auto pen. You know what I mean? Like it's not me in the image. It's AI image, but it kind of auto signed me, you know, in there.
Kind of.
No, yeah.
Positive.
Yeah,
you haven't had anything to say. What are your thoughts on today's
Hey,
topic?
positive.
Yeah, dude. Speak.
Good to see you,
What
man.
up?
It's hard to get a word in edgewise.
What's
Go
Speak
ahead.
up, man. Speak up, man.
No, I thought we are going to talk about, or is that on the next show where we talk
Next
about,
show is the nerdy stuff.
Yeah, next show is
Yeah.
Spider-Man and Strange New Worlds.
Okay.
This is where we talk
Yeah, this
about
is
like
the
political
politics
stuff.
and yeah. By the way, did I miss anything super where you want my point of view or angle on that you were talking about?
Well, since
Golden
you're our,
statues?
our resident tech expert, why don't you chime in on the phone issue and how you feel about it for the next 5 minutes before I end the stream?
Just give me a quick cap on what the phone issue actually is.
You had the app that
Government-
erases
hold on,
all the
hold
data.
on. Government is claiming that the guy had potentially illegal stuff
erase the
on his
data.
phone, and he tricked them into erasing it.
Okay, well that's the whole point of it. So it's I didn't trick anybody. That was the function of the phone. Obviously, you have the right to privacy, right? Like we do have the right to privacy. No?
In theory.
Yeah.
Ostensibly.
So I mean that's totally fine. Whether or not there is any real information or not is another reason why I don't like listening to people talk about how they think they know how computers work. But I mean, 9 times out of 10, every single app, every single OS, every single everything transmission in some way or form is being recorded. That includes file names or meta or even hashes. There's got to copies, backup copies. I mean, if we can pull a Ring, if Google can pull video from a Ring camera or whatever the hell it's called, their version of it, for that Guthrie thing, right? They didn't even have a subscription, yet they were able to pull data from cache stored on a server that was technically supposed to be unaccessible, right? Then any kind of records, you can't really delete a phone unless that phone is actually set up not to transmit any of that information. But I find that very hard to believe in today's world.
Oh no, any of the information that he got from another outside source would have been included on those outside sources. The thing is, say he was using Telegram, they're not going to know he had Telegram installed on that phone without going to Telegram side. They're not going to know if he used Messenger or if he used SMS texting or if they used.
That's not necessarily true because the internet doesn't work that way. You still have to communicate with another server to get that service. So
but they'd have to know which server that was.
They already have databases for that, and the government already has these companies. The government already has the companies like telling them what their deep web looks like, man. But you can listen to any you can listen to any any device, and you can just listen to where it's going, what it's saying, and then when it gets to the encrypted part, all they have to do is store it. So once they get their quantum chips, I mean, that's what a lot of companies are doing right now. That's why I say World War III is happening right now. You just don't even know it. All these companies, everybody who has power is just listening and then just recording that into data centers. So one day when Microsoft or NVIDIA's quantum chip comes out that can crack freaking encryption codes like nothing, all that saved data is going to be unencrypted, and we're going to have proof of all the stuff people were doing, going, saying. I mean, it's just a matter of time, literally. So, but I mean, is it illegal to have an app that protects you? No, of course not. You have the right to privacy. You can do whatever you want. You can do whatever the hell you want as long as you do it in privacy. I mean, there's literally nothing illegal, right?
Here's my.
It's not like you can kill a person in private.
Here's one of my takes on it. He himself did not delete anything off his phone. The action that actually deleted the phone was the officers putting in the code that he gave them.
Yeah, trap code. Yeah.
So technically,
all he really would have had to say was, "I do not want you to access my phone."
Well, the whole thing is they were saying that they were going to hold him until he gave him the code.
They could say you'll have to get a warrant or something like that. And if they
that sounds like a not know your
and
right.
In this case, they didn't have a warrant, and they were saying they didn't need a warrant because he's a domestic terrorist.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems
remember,
kind of, nefarious.
This is the same administration that is basically has accused everybody who's a socialist, a member of Antifa, or a communist, a domestic terrorist. So as far as the government's concerned, at least me and Elihu are domestic terrorists in the eyes of the government. Because I am a democratic socialist.
I mean, again, it comes down to privacy. You're supposed to have the right to privacy, man.
We'll see if that sticks. I'm going to keep an eye on this case just in case.
But if he got whatever images that they say he got, there has to be records of it. So that it's not like deleting the phone is the only course. Like, seriously, he had to have gotten the image somewhere, and that means there has to be some kind of record somewhere. But if you don't have any, if you're going completely cold and you have absolutely not even a lick of evidence, then it should just fall apart, because you can just do that to anybody. You can accuse anybody of having that shit.
I think once they denied him access to an attorney, that's where this case is going to fall apart, but we'll see. But on that note, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream so I can get ready for the next one. Remember, we'll be talking about Spider-Man and Strange New Worlds. You might be, Gap, sorry. Especially if you become a patron or buy something on SD Game Swap, then you'd be technically supporting a domestic terrorist, as far as the government is concerned.
If you buy something from me on eBay, you're supporting a domestic terrorist, because look at my bio, Antifa member.
Let's not give the algorithm any more purpose to, like, to watch this channel, please. I mean, what you guys just said right there, like, is like a triple whammy.
Okay, how about this? Jaloja, Orville. I got Jaloja while we take a break. Later, guys. I really got Jaloja.
Domestic terrorism. All right.